Hoyt RX8 Ultra, the bow I would probably be most interested in. Let's check it out. Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel. MFJJ here with PodiumArcher.com, looking at the new RX8 Ultra from Hoyt 2024. Sorry this video's out a little late, ran out of time, not going to get into why, but either way, we got it here and we'll get it out to you. All the same features of the new bows that we already made videos about. 1/4-inch module adjustments, 3 let-off positions on their draw stop, wider limb set, wider limb pocket, new integrated go sticks that are like a bipod. They're really cool, big improvement over last year's. Other than that, we're still running the same RX7 Ultra riser. That's all still the same, but it was already a pretty bomb-proof solid system, so you just added some extra feature to it. Still has front pick mount, still rear rest mount. Specs are 332 speed, 4.4 pounds, 34 and 11/16 on the axle to axle, and 7 and 1/16 brace height. Let's measure some of that stuff out. All right. So from the far side of the screw, looks like 34 and a half, which it said 11/16. That's pretty freaking close. Let's check our brace here. Back side of the string is 7 and 1/8 probably, 7 to the front. So, and they said 7 and 1/16. That's an honest measurement. Let's see how much overall riser length we have. Looks like a 31-inch riser with reflex geometry. 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 reflex. All right, let's see what our weight looks like. Take that off because that's a stabilizer. Just because it comes with a stabilizer doesn't mean we should weigh it with a stabilizer. Right. So that bow's weighing out at 4.7 and it's published at 4.4. That's 1/10, so we're probably coming in a little heavy. I imagine they're taking off that or something to come up with that weight, but you know, you're obviously not going to take that off. So that bow's a little heavier than it's stated. Put that on real quick. Check our draw weight, get that set right. 71.1. Where's my wrench? Been doing so many of these, everything's everywhere. Oh, here we go. Give you a half a twist. .70. All right, let's see how the draw length stacks up. Okay, we're at 30 inches here, and just judging off of this look, I would say this bow's more like 31 1/4. Like this is your standard point. That's where your bolt hole would be. I'd say it's 30 1/4, so this bow's a little long. All right, first 3 arrows out of the RX8 Ultra, 70 pounds, 350 grain arrows, 30-inch draw. Yeah, it spools up the same as the other bows do. This does have the shorter module on it at 30 inches. That bow feels real dead, which is part of why it's going to perform so well. I'll be really surprised if this doesn't do good in the speed test because that module is designed to be shot where it's sitting right now at 30 inches. And that's where, hang on. When you're looking at a Hoyt, you probably want to pay attention to where the modules peak at and try to be near their peak. So like if you had a 29-inch draw length, you probably ought to really strongly consider the Alpha X33. If you have a 28-inch draw length, the 30-inch bows are going to peak there. And they also made 3 modules for this bow instead of 2, which they made them for all of them. So I want to say this bow at 28, I think it's 28, gets the number 1 mod in it, or 27.5, and it's going to be quite a bit faster. So that's definitely something to consider. Let's stick the vibration tool on and see what we get. All right, hit record here. There we go. Let's see what kind of vibes we get. $16.13. Doesn't surprise me. Traditionally, bows that are lighter tend to vibrate a little more. $10.71. One more. $15.83. So we're going to give it probably a 14 average. All right, 350 grain arrow, 70-pound bow, 30 inches. Let's see how fast it is. We're looking for 332 feet a second. $323. Now remember, if you get within 10, I think you're being relatively honest, because there's ways to make bows go faster that aren't practical usage, so I won't test them that way. I test them as fair use as you can possibly have. 320. $319. So we'll give you a 321 average. 320, 321. I'll call it 321. All right. Now we'll try the other two sets of arrows and see what it does at 450 and 550. All right, now we have 450 grain arrows, same bow, 70 pounds, 30 inches, and then we'll shoot some 550s. $286. $287. $287. So we'll give you a 287 on that. All right, 550s. Whoa. Still early today, apparently. 263. $260. $263. So that'll give you a 262 average. Okay. Let's see here. Draw cycle. Man, I got to give you a 5. That was really good. Grip, I'm going to give you a 4. It is a rounded, contoured grip. It's not my preference personally. However, if you take the grip off, there is a good square edge underneath it, which is really more what I'd like to feel. But it's not bad for a contoured grip. It's probably one of the better feeling ones that I've ever felt. The back wall, I'm going to give you a 4. I still think it could be a little firmer, but all in all, it is very good. Balance, Hoyt's always going to do really well in balance no matter what. They've designed them with that in mind. They're focusing on keeping it essentially balanced. So I've got to give you a 5 on that one. Weight, you said it was 4.4. It's 4.6, and it's a carbon bow. So, I mean, it's not... For a 35-inch axle-to-axle bow, it's not heavy compared to an aluminum, but I really feel like a carbon bow should be lighter than 4.6 pounds. So I'm going to give you a 3. I really think that's really more doable. I would like to think. I'd like to see it lighter, just because there's other comparable bows out there that are quite a bit lighter. So I'd like to see that be a lighter option. 34.5 to 34 11/16 for your ATA. I mean, that's a beautiful ATA. I love bows that size, so I'm going to go ahead and give you a 5 there. Your brace height, great brace height. I mean, very forgiving, which those two things are going to slow the bow down, which is part of why you get that. Your actual draw length is 30 1/4, so I'm giving you a 3, simply because that's a 1/4 inch off. So we're getting fudged numbers in that scenario. 1 3/4 reset reflex, I'm also going to give you a 3. I feel a bow... I'd like to see a bow with less than 1 inch of reflex in it. It tends to shoot better. It tends to be more accurate. It tends to be more forgiving. And a bow that's got those specs, it's not hard to get this number down. It's really not. So 321 was your average speed. That's more than 10 feet off, so I gotta check you down for that. I'll give you a 3. For the specs of the bow that you have, that's not shocking to get that speed out of it. Tunability, I'm giving you a 2, and I'm only giving you a 2 because you redid the spacers. They're aluminum, they're not plastic, but you're not offering tunability features. You're making it difficult to work on the bow, and I'd like to see some changes in that. Features, I'm going to give you a 5 because nobody's trying to cram more features into a bow than Hoyt. They've got integrated V-bar bracket, front mount, rear mount, cool quiver system, integrated go sticks, rotational things. I mean, there's some really amazing stuff right there, so I got to give you high marks there. On vibration, I'm going to give you a 4. I really questioned about giving you a 3 on that because that is a higher number than we've gotten on some stuff and higher than this price point, but you also are also talking about a lighter bow. Lighter bows are typically going to vibrate a little bit more, but that is a little higher the number than I expected to get. And at $18.99 on price, you're at the higher end of it, but you're also making a very high-end product. Very feature filled, so I'm going to go ahead and give you a 4, although I can also considered giving you a 3 because I think you're pushing it. I think how much you're asking for that bow is an awful lot for what you're offering, but I don't think it's unreasonable. I think it's skirting the line really close of where it should be at $18.99 for that. So let's see what we get for a score here. 4, 8, 13, 15... So 13, 15, 18, 21, 24. All right. 5, 10, 18, 21, 31. Is that right? Yeah, 5, 10, 20. Yep, 31. So your measurable assets, you're getting a really high score for what it is. And the MFO, it's a little lower than average. There's things in here I really wish you would address. All in all, it is a very phenomenal bow, and I would think comparing it to any other bows in that price range, you're probably going to like the feel really incredibly well. There may be some speed that you're going to gain in others, but I would be shocked if you can find a bow that's going to shoot better. With the brace height that they offer in this bow and the axle to axle they offer in this bow is designed for the hardcore Western hunter. That's what it's for. And out of the entire line, it's the bow I would probably express the most interest in. I'd probably play with the Alpha X33 in this personally, because I am a Western hunter and that's more relevant to me. And what I mean by Western hunter is someone who's probably going to shoot things a little farther away where stability matters a little more than tree stand and ground blinds 20 to 40 yards, that kind of stuff. All bows are pretty accurate in that aspect. And these, I didn't show these, but these little new Go sticks are integratable to the bow. I probably should have put that on there, but they're really sweet. They adjust forward and backward to any different angles. So depending on whether you want to rest it on your stabilizer or the back cam lobe, which on this bow does have, Tim called the nipple of destiny, but this allows your cam to sit on the ground without your string groove sitting on the ground. That's a really cool additional thought, which is part of your features being 5s. Like, you're doing a lot of really cool, unique things. I'd just like to see some more tunability and, you know, maybe a little lighter for what you're talking about being carbon. You would hope it would probably weigh a little less than it does, but still, all in all, a very impressive bow. Comment down below on what you think. Maybe I'm an idiot, maybe I'm a genius, who knows? Let me know what you think on that. Make sure to follow along on the Instagram. We're going to be doing the giveaways for last year right now, real quick. As soon as I get done with all the bow reviews, I have 12 more videos to do in a week, so please be patient with me. I've got a lot of work to do, but once I get past that, we'll start doing the giveaways, and then we'll start next year's giveaways shortly after that. So thanks for following along. Really appreciate it.